So I haven't done any news stories in the last couple of days. Well, we're going to do a little catch up, starting with this one right here. Who killed Patricia Soto? Tips is sought in Washington's Mom 2021 trunk murder case. King County detectives need help to solve the murder of 41-year-old Patricia Soto, a mother of three who, in 2021, was found tied up and dead in the trunk of a car of an auto yard in Graham.
Later, her body was found tied up in the trunk of a car.
Isn't that terrible? She didn't deserve that.
That's terrible.
I can't even think about it. It makes me sick.
Yeah. Now, 3 years later, her mom and detectives want to know who kidnapped and killed her. The News at 10 starts now.
Never a good time when you find somebody in the back of a vehicle because somebody had to put them in there.
There was a tragic discovery more than 3 years ago at an auto yard in Graham. Our Fox 13 News crew was there after Pierce County deputies discovered a woman dead in the trunk of a car. She was later identified as 41-year-old Patricia Soto. The mother of three had been reported missing in Burien more than a month later. King County Major Crimes detectives say she was murdered. Thank you for joining us for the News at 10. I'm Sabir Rayford.
And I'm David Rose. Tonight, her mom is talking publicly for the first time about her family's loss as the lead investigator on the case shares new information in hopes that you can help give him a lead to identify her killers. Look at that smile.
Yeah, I know. She's got a beautiful smile.
Family photos of Patricia Soto show a woman at her happiest, with her kids, or cheering on the Seahawks. Her mom, Karen, says Tricia was a good person.
She had a huge heart, and she was a beautiful soul. She was a free spirit.
Tricia was also struggling with addiction, but was finally ready for a change.
And she wanted to get her life back on track.
She was scheduled to start inpatient treatment on Monday, November 9th, 2021. She brought her luggage to her mom's home in Snohomish County, but then left to make one more trip to the Burien apartment where she'd been staying with a friend.
I said, don't go out there. I said, you won't be back. And I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like, you're not going to come back. You're going to stay out there, and then you won't go to treatment is what I was thinking. And then she went to Burien. And then I didn't see her ever again after that.
Karen filed a missing persons report when her daughter stopped responding to her text messages. What did you think?
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know why she disappeared. I didn't know why she wasn't responding to me. It was just radio silence all of a sudden.
The last time that she was seen alive was in the city of Burien at her friend's apartment, and that would have been late on November 7th of 2021 or in the early morning hours of November 8th.
King County Major Crimes Detective Aaron Thompson says Tricia left the apartment at about 1 a.m. to go outside to meet someone. She was running with a lawless crowd.
I think just based on the lifestyle that she was living, she was a target of some threats, because of the narcotics deals and things that she had been involved in.
Weeks went by with no sightings.
It was horrible. It was crying daily. My heart was broken. I was scared to death. Her kids were scared. Nobody knew what happened to her.
Then, on December 21st, a grim discovery at a tow yard in Graham. Tricia was found tied up in the trunk of this Acura TL with a gold-colored hood.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Office had been dispatched there to investigate an odor that was coming from a vehicle that had been donated there. And they saw what they believed to be a deceased person in the trunk of the car, kind of through the rear seat armrest pass-through.
Detective Thompson says Tricia was in the car she'd been driving. Her boyfriend was letting her use it while he was in jail. The car had been abandoned in Roy on November 8th, just hours after her disappearance.
They called the police because it was on private property. The police wouldn't come tow it. So eventually, to get this abandoned car off their property, they called and donated it to a local charity. And then the tow yard came and picked it up, and that's how it ended up at the tow yard in Graham.
Do you think she was already dead when the car was parked there in Roy?
It's impossible for us to say.
Crime scene techs processed the vehicle for evidence and DNA. Detective Thompson says so far, they found no match to that DNA and have ruled out all of those closest to her.
A lot of those people have either alibied out, they've given DNA samples to be compared against the DNA in the case, they have given interviews, and we haven't haven't been able to tie any of those people to her case.
He says they do believe there was more than one suspect involved in her kidnapping, people she trusted.
I think everybody that we know about who is tied with her, we've spoken to. And what we're really looking for is for information on someone that we haven't yet interviewed or collected DNA from that might be involved.
This one seems very personal, doesn't it?
It does. I think that whoever did this to Patricia definitely knew her. She felt safe meeting them, and they took advantage of that.
Why would somebody want to kill her?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, the way that she was tied up, it had to be somebody that was angry, I think.
Detective Thompson says he's certain there are people who know who was involved in Trisha's disappearance and death.
We've looked at a lot of angles, and a lot of times what it takes is just, we might be facing in almost the right direction, and somebody can give us just enough information to point us in the exact right direction and get us pointed down the right trail to find who did this.
I want the person or persons who did it to be behind bars. They don't deserve to be walking the streets and living their life.
So, if you have any information to help solve Patricia Soto's murder, you will remain anonymous when you submit a tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. Crime Stoppers is offering a $1,000 cash reward for the tip that helps solve this case. You can text that information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call 1-800-222.
Yeah, hopefully somebody will come forward and that will get this cold case solved.